Alright, what we got going on here is the backhoe split.
It didn't split, it's still here.
Got a gigantic hole here. So we just
That's a lot of crazy glue.
used the torch and cut off a bunch of bad parts. And now we're grinding it down. Actually, Philly's grinding it down. He's the main grinder.
Yeah. I can grind.
He can grind. And then we got the oxy here. We're gonna cut some more slag off of that from a previous weld job. And what are you gonna do? Oh, he supplies the tools.
I'm supervising.
Yeah.
He supplies the tools. He's got a nice grinder here that we used. All new grinding wheels. And we'll be back when it's done.
Yeah, we'll be back.
What are you doing, Philly?
Cutting up a tractor.
We cut the red off, right?
Somebody.
Alright, put another wheel in the grinder.
Yeah.
Alright, we lost electricity for 6 hours this morning. So we've been running by generator. We can't weld with the generator. The power just came back on. 6 hours without power. Alright, what we're going to do here, I'm pulling this pin out for the cylinder for the crouch in the bucket. We're going to leave that one attached. Hopefully, when I start the machine and make that piston contract, it's going to pull out that close. We're going to throw a come along on it too. And see if we can make that gap like almost nothing. Then we can weld that, and then I'll throw some steel plates on it afterwards and weld them in. Just cleaning it up. We did a great job with the grinder. Everything looks nice and clean for a weld. Ready to come along. If you learn too much, we're going to have to kill you. Alright, now we finished grinding and cutting with the oxyacetylene, and we were able to pull the two pieces almost perfectly back together. And now we're stick welding.
What?
We're stick welding. There. Got my welder's hat, my welder's stick, my welder's gloves, my welder's hat. Came together pretty good. And I just made the first vertical weld. Still grinding it down. Then we're going to put a nice steel plate right over the whole thing here. I gotta go on the inside now and weld. Gotta weld right in there. We were able to heat that with the oxy. That was all bent. And beat the shit out of it with a lump hammer. It pretty much came back together. So we gotta work on that right now. Ron, we're gonna use the bucket truck. I put a new piston in there. I rebuilt the piston. The other one I had rebuilt, well, years before that.
Okay.
So we're going to take the bucket truck, and we've got trees that are right over my power line here, going to the house. We're going to get rid of these trees here.
Is that one more thing to do?
One more thing.
One more.
One more.
One more. One.
Well, folks, you're not going to believe this one. It's definitely another Coast Poster adventure. I was up in the field cutting the grass with the bush hog, and Phil came up by the pond, and there was a pine branch laying on the grass right where I had to mow. So he gets off the quad, which he thought was on level ground.
Which way?
And he walks over to the pine branch, and I'm coming up towards it, and I see his quad move a little bit. And a little more, and a little more. The next thing you know, it takes off down the hill.
Down the hill.
All the way down, with him chasing it. He looked so funny chasing that freaking thing. What were you going to do, hang on to the back rail while it hit the tree?
Going that fast.
So anyway, he couldn't catch it, and the thing went all the way down to the bottom. In fact, right under my tree stand, and hit the apple tree. Head on. So now we're trying to pull the frame back apart. All this was squashed up here, bowed all the way out, but some pieces of the frame broke that hold the front rack on and stuff. You know what it reminds me of? This is what it reminds me of. Only the guy who was riding this, thank God nobody was on the other quad just now. The guy who was riding this flew off of the quad, and his left thigh hit the underside of this, broke the choke lever, and broke his leg in 2 places, his femur. He's still in the hospital. Well, he's in a rehab now. He had to have 2 operations on the leg. Collarbone, 3 ribs, not collarbone, sternum, 3 ribs. Put a big 9-inch gash in his head. And that's another one. I only got 1 more quad. Actually, I got 2 more quads left. Hope we don't get U-dents in them like this.
Good morning.
All right. We're going to be chaining Joe's quad to the bulldozer.
So don't roll away?
Yeah. And then we're going to tie the front on with a come along. Just over here.
Make a stretch out of it.
And try and stretch out this bad part here. I already took off that front part. Didn't hit the radiator. That's a good sign. And that's the part we just took off. That's the part that took the main impact on the tree. And believe it or not, Phil worked all yesterday afternoon and this morning and got this quad back to normal.
Almost.
Almost.
Don't knock my screws.
You gotta do a little headlight adjustment.
A little plastic work.
Alright, not too horrible. Just barely nicked the radiator, but it didn't make a hole. This is the front grille. Looks like Swiss cheese. And we bent this post had a big U in it. We heated the plastic. Got that back in some sort of semblance of shape. And this thing is just shot. You can actually cut it with a hacksaw here. You don't really even need it. But it's functional. Bill, did you have an accident by accident last night?
I accidented. It worked.